You know, there's something powerful that happens when a woman finally realizes she doesn't have to beg to be seen, when she finally stops shrinking to fit into the frame someone else painted for her. See, if you want to become the woman he can't ignore, it doesn't start with changing your hair, your clothes, or learning some magic trick to get his attention. It starts with knowing your value so deeply that his attention becomes a bonus, not the goal. Most of the time, we've been conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to how someone else sees us. If he texts us back, we feel good. If he ghosts us, suddenly we feel like we weren't enough. But let me tell you something, and I want you to hear this with your heart, not just your ears. Your worth is not up for negotiation. It was set the day you were born, and the moment you internalize that truth, everything changes. The world responds differently to a woman who is rooted in her worth. She walks differently. She speaks with conviction, not desperation. She stops chasing and starts choosing. And let me tell you this, a woman who knows her value doesn't compete, because she understands she is the prize. She doesn't have to prove herself to anybody. That kind of energy is magnetic. It's not loud, it's not arrogant. It's quiet certainty. And that is unforgettable, but here's the real talk. Building that kind of unshakable self. Worth doesn't happen overnight. It's forged through the hard stuff, those lonely nights, the heartbreaks, the doubts that creep in when you're scrolling through social media, comparing yourself to everybody else. It's in those moments that you have to pause and remind yourself, you are not less just because someone didn't see your light. Their inability to recognize your value is not evidence that you don't have any. It just means they weren't capable of appreciating what you bring to the table, and that's not your problem to fix. You want to become unforgettable, then stop trying to be someone else. Stop trying to fit into a mold to please him, them, anyone. Instead, start asking yourself, who am I when no one's watching? What do I believe in? What do I love about myself that has nothing to do with my looks or my relationship status? You see, when you fall in love with when you admire the way you handle challenges, the way you get back up after being knocked down, that's when you become powerful. That's when you become the kind of woman a man can't ignore not because you're yelling for attention, but because you're silently commanding it. Think about it like this. Confidence isn't noise, it's presence. When you walk into a room owning your identity, your energy speaks before you do. That kind of woman doesn't chase love, she attracts it, and not just any kind of love, the kind that's real, that's deep, that sees her for who she is and doesn't try to dim her light. And look, I get it, sometimes your past tries to whisper in your ear. Maybe you've been cheated on, maybe you've been left, forgotten, overlooked, and now there's this little voice inside you that says, I wasn't good enough, but let me tell you something real. That voice is lying. You weren't too much and you weren't not enough. You were just with someone who couldn't meet you where you deserve to be. Don't carry their limitations into your future. Don't let their actions shape your identity. You are not what they did to you. You are what you choose to become in spite of it. The truth is, a man can't ignore a woman who walks in truth. A woman who doesn't flinch when he pulls away because her confidence isn't attached to his presence. She doesn't crumble when he gets quiet because she's got her own peace, her own purpose, and her own power. And let me tell you, men notice that. That kind of strength is rare, and rare is unforgettable. So before you ask how do I make him notice me? Ask, do I see myself? Because the moment you do, the moment you really look in the mirror and recognize the woman staring back, that's the moment everything shifts. That's when you stop chasing and start elevating. And that's when you become the woman no man in his right mind could ever ignore. Let me tell you something most people won't say out loud. It's not just about how you look, what you wear, or how many compliments you get. If you want to be the woman he can't ignore, you've got to master something deeper. Your emotions. You've got to know how to carry yourself when things don't go your way. Because the truth is, a woman who knows how to manage her emotions, not suppress them, not pretend, but manage them with strength, is operating on a whole different level. Listen, emotional intelligence isn't about being soft. It's about being in control. It's about knowing when to speak and when to stay still. It's about not allowing someone else's behavior to dictate your peace. That's real power. That's what separates a woman he sees today from the woman he remembers for the rest of his life. You ever seen a woman lose herself over a man who stopped calling? A man who pulled back or acted distant? She starts panicking, questioning everything, doubting herself, sending long texts, trying to explain her worth, begging without realizing it. Now, I'm not judging because I get it. We've all been there at some point, but I'll tell you what that behavior really says. It says, I need your reaction to feel okay. It says, I'm not grounded enough in myself to let you drift without losing my grip. But the woman he can't ignore. She handles those moments differently. When he pulls away, she doesn't chase. She pauses. She leans back. She takes a breath and reminds herself that silence isn't always rejection. It's information. And instead of reacting with fear, she responds with wisdom. She lets the situation unfold without losing her balance, and that level of control, that level of self-respect, that sticks with a man. Men notice everything. They may not say it, but they see how you carry yourself under pressure. They pay attention to whether you blow up over a late reply, or if you hold your frame and keep it classy. Emotional intelligence shows in the way you handle conflict, in how you bounce back from disappointment, and in how you protect your peace, no matter who's watching. And I'll say this too, having emotional intelligence doesn't mean you suppress how you feel. It just means you own how you feel. You can acknowledge your pain without letting it rule your life. You can feel disappointment and still move with dignity. A woman who is emotionally aware knows how to sit with her feelings without letting them make decisions for her. She doesn't let a bad moment define her mood, her day, or her direction. You've got to remember that not everything deserves your energy. Not every slight needs a response. Sometimes silence is your power move. Sometimes walking away is louder than raising your voice. When you stop trying to control how someone sees you and start controlling how you carry yourself, your whole life shifts. I've seen women with beauty, success, charm, and still they get overlooked. Why? Because the emotional chaos within them creates tension around them. It's not about being perfect. It's about being peaceful. A man can't ignore a woman who knows how to stay calm in a storm. She's the eye of the hurricane, strong, still, and steady. That kind of energy is unforgettable, and this doesn't just apply to relationships. This is about who you are in every room you walk into. Your presence is your energy. If you walk in anxious, people feel it. If you walk in centered, people respect it. Emotional intelligence is your silent strength. It makes people lean in, not because you're doing the most, but because you're grounded in who you are. You don't have to react to everything. You don't have to prove a point every time someone challenges you. You don't have to win every argument. Sometimes the biggest win is staying composed, walking away, and protecting your peace like it's sacred, because it is. So if you want to be the woman he can't ignore, start here. Start with how you manage what you feel. Show him you can love without losing yourself. Show him that you're not just beautiful, you're balanced. You're not just emotional, you're intelligent with your emotions. And when he sees that, when he feels that level of maturity, grace, and self-control, he'll realize something. He's not dealing with just another woman. He's standing in front of a woman who knows herself. A woman who can love deeply without falling apart. And that kind of woman he'll never forget. Let me tell you something that a lot of people overlook when they're trying to figure out how to keep someone's attention. They get so caught up in asterisk, how to be chosen asterisk, that they forget the real secret is to create a life you're proud of, with or without anybody else standing beside you. If you really want to be the woman he can't ignore, you've got to stop waiting to be seen and start focusing on building a life so rich, so full, so vibrant, that you become unforgettable just by asterisk being asterisk. See, when a woman wakes up excited about her own life, when she's focused on her goals, passionate about what she's doing, and at peace with who she is, she doesn't just glow, she asterisk shines. Asterisk, and people notice. That kind of joy, that kind of purpose, it's rare, and what's rare always stands out. Too many women pause their dreams, their growth, even their happiness, hoping that love will fill in the missing pieces. But that's not how it works. Love doesn't complete you. It complements the woman you've already become. You're not here to be a supporting character in someone else's story. You're the lead in your own. And when you step into that mindset, your energy shifts. You go from waiting for life to happen to asterisk, making asterisk life happen. You want to be unforgettable. Stop orbiting around his world and start building your own. Get so caught up in discovering what lights you up that you stop worrying about whether or not he's texting back. A woman who is passionate about her own path is intoxicating. She's not sitting around hoping to be invited. She's building something so powerful that people asterisk want asterisk to be part of it. And don't let anybody make you feel selfish for choosing yourself. This world has conditioned women to feel guilty for putting themselves first. But how can you give love, energy, joy if your own cup is empty? How can you attract real connection if the only thing you're bringing to the table is need? No, baby. Fill your life with things that inspire you. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow. Try new things, go new places, learn, stretch, become, because here's what happens when you start loving your life. You stop settling, you stop clinging to half-hearted effort, you stop tolerating emotional crumbs. You start holding out for what truly aligns with your spirit, and you do it not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of deep self-respect. That's when people begin to realize this woman knows herself. This woman can't be distracted by nonsense. This woman is building something, and either you rise to meet her or you get left behind. Let me be real with you for a second. There is nothing more powerful than a woman who has built her own joy. A woman who can laugh by herself at a coffee shop, who can dance in her room on a Friday night, who can book that trip, take that risk, make that move on her own terms. She doesn't just attract love, she attracts respect. She doesn't just turn heads, she earns loyalty, because people can feel it when you're not faking it. They can feel when you're not desperate for their attention because you're already full on your own. And when a man sees that, when he sees a woman who's not looking for someone to save her, but someone to share with, he steps differently, he approaches differently. He knows he's dealing with someone who's not impressed by games or flash, but by consistency, character, and alignment. That's when you stop being an option and start being the standard. And let's be clear, it's not about being busy all the time or building some perfect version of yourself. It's about being asterisk, present asterisk in your own life. It's about waking up and asking, what do asterisk I asterisk need today to feel full? What brings asterisk me asterisk joy? And then honoring that over and over again until it becomes second nature. You're not here to chase anyone. You're here to become, to evolve, to grow into the version of you that was never meant to settle for less than extraordinary. And when you start to live that way, when you start showing up for asterisk you asterisk, you become the kind of woman he can't help but notice. Not because you're loud or flashy, but because your life speaks for itself, because your peace, your passion, your power, it shines through, and that kind of light, that kind of woman, you don't ignore her. You asterisk remember asterisk her. Let's get something straight. Setting boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about drawing a line between what you allow and what you won't allow. If you want to be the woman he can't ignore, you've got to learn how to protect your space, your heart, your mind, and your energy like it's sacred. Because it is. A woman with boundaries commands respect without having to raise her voice. She doesn't have to say much because her energy says it for her. I know who I am, and I'm not afraid to walk away if you can't meet me there. C. One of the most dangerous habits we develop, especially when we're afraid of losing someone, is compromising too much too fast. We bend our standards, silence our instincts, and start justifying behaviors we know deep down we shouldn't tolerate. All because we think being understanding will keep them around, but let me tell you something, it won't. If anything, it teaches them how little they have to do to keep your attention. People treat you based on what you allow, and when you operate without boundaries, you send the message that they can disrespect you, confuse you, or come and go as they please, and you'll still be there. That's not love, that's self-abandonment. That's you handing over your power in hopes that they'll eventually appreciate you enough to give it back. But here's the truth. They rarely do. Because when someone sees you constantly give without asking for more, they don't think wow, she's amazing, they think this is easy, but when a woman sets boundaries, when she has the courage to say I'm not available for that kind of energy, it changes everything. She's not rude, she's not cold, she's clear. She knows what she brings to the table, and she's not afraid to eat alone if respect isn't being served. And that right there, that clarity, that confidence in action, that's what makes her unforgettable. Let me be real with you. It takes strength to set boundaries, especially when your feelings are involved. It's hard to pull back when you're emotionally invested. It's hard to say no when your heart wants to say yes. But what's harder in the long run is staying in situations that drain you, that chip away at your peace, that make you question your worth just to keep someone who doesn't even see it. The woman he can't ignore is the one who doesn't tolerate mixed signals. She doesn't chase after explanations for inconsistent behavior. She doesn't sit around decoding half-hearted effort. She pays attention. She listens when someone shows her who they are, and she acts accordingly, not out of bitterness, but out of self-respect. When you set boundaries, you start attracting different energy. You stop entertaining people who only show up when it's convenient for them. You stop being available to energy that's flaky, vague, or manipulative. You start making room for people who are clear, intentional, and consistent. And let me tell you, men feel that shift. They know they can't just say anything, do anything, and still have access to you. They step correct, or they step aside. And let's not forget, boundaries aren't just for other people. They're for you too. They're reminders of who you are and what you deserve. They're your way of staying aligned with your values, your goals, your peace. When you keep your own standards high, you don't have to worry about whether someone else respects them. You're already living them out. I know sometimes it feels easier to lower the bar just to keep someone around, to give a pass just this once, or make excuses for why they're not showing up fully. But that temporary comfort, it's expensive, because every time you choose comfort over clarity, you lose a little piece of yourself. You teach yourself that settling is okay, and it's not for you, not anymore. The woman he can't ignore doesn't just have a beautiful face or a great vibe. She has standards, she has a filter. She doesn't try to be liked by everyone, because she's not for everyone. She's for the one who sees her, respects her, and is willing to rise to meet her where she stands. And if someone can't, she doesn't crumble. She doesn't beg. She blesses them and moves on. Because once you know your value, you don't negotiate your peace. You don't explain your boundaries. You live them. And that kind of woman, that kind of self-honoring, clear, grounded, powerful woman, he can't ignore her even if he tried.